Hey everybody.
Hello.
Hi. We are here. Yeah, you can decide what to do. We have a little space, so there we go. Okay. So we have decided that we are going to do one of the things that Mr. Man over here says is I've been now boots on the ground on 3 different treasure hunts. Do parents know what kids should be giving them by way of feedback when you prepare for your boots on the ground with a child, which is a little different than if you just have adults. So you want to look right up there, buddy. Okay, so we have decided to give you the top recommendations, lessons learned from when we go boots on the ground when you have a kid involved. So I'm going to name the first one fun. So let's talk about that. So we go boots on the ground and we say we're just going to be out for an hour.
Yes.
And what happens?
We stay out longer.
We stay out longer. How many hours do we usually stay out?
Like 4 or 5.
Yeah, at least. And if we went boots on the ground and traveled somewhere, it'd be even longer, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you recommend for parents that know you might say you're going to go boots on the ground for an hour, but you're going to go longer? What does a kid feel like when they go boots on the ground in that situation?
Sometimes it might get boring and then they might just want to go home or do something else.
Yeah, so what should they do? What should they plan for when they're saying boots on the ground is going to be all day? What do you do with your kids?
Then maybe you can make it interesting or like try getting them to do something or...
Yeah, so we went boots on the ground yesterday. When we got to our 3rd place or 4th place that we thought it was, there was a park there. So I went to go find that treasure. What did you do?
Played at the park because
you played at the park. You were low bored. You were like, oh, we should have found it by now. I'm not all excited about this. And so you went on the little thing. You went and played at the park and there were some other kids there. And that got you kind of rejuvenated, right?
Yes.
Okay. There's some other things we could do. We could have games. We could have other things. We could make different situations, right? So number 1 hint or number 1 recommendation by Mr. Man is what?
Keep it fun.
Keep it fun. Okay, that's number 1. If you're treasure hunting with a little guy, number 1. What's number 2? Let's say number 2 is kids melt more quickly than adults. When we go out for 5 or 6 hours, what do you need?
I need food.
You need food. You metabolize, you eat like 8 times a day and you're underweight. So you have to have lots of extra things, even more than the average person. What are the types of things that you need? We call it melt. He's melting. What do you need to make sure that you can make it through few hours boots on the ground?
I need snacks.
You need snacks. Absolutely.
And
drinks. And now this is not just water, because usually we just do water in our lives. But this is when you're allowed Gatorade. Yes, and maybe a root beer, because there's a little bit of caffeine in there and a little bit of sugar. Actually, I don't think there's caffeine. But things that will keep you going.
Yes.
Maybe even candy.
Just eating and drinking.
Eating and drinking. Bring your sandwich. Maybe plan for the day. We always say we're only going out for an hour.
Yes.
But it's always longer.
Yeah.
So have some extra things in the car, right? What are the other things? Like maybe a banana?
Yeah, we need fruits.
Fruits. We love fruits. Probably not vegetables if we're just going out for a day, but fruit like bananas, apples, oranges, those sorts of things. Yeah. So something that gets the sugar going. Peanut butter is really good too. Cynthia says peanut butter.
Maybe a sandwich.
Maybe a sandwich. Jelly. Yeah. Yeah, so a whole little cooler. That's number 2. Okay. When you're with a little guy, you can't just go till you drop. Okay, what's number 3? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Never be in dangerous situations, especially when you got the little guys involved. So let's give a couple of examples. You should not. I haven't taken you to Yellowstone. Why?
Because there's a bunch of bears there and it's undangerous.
Yeah, and there's water that looks okay. You get burned just here, let alone if there was actual bad things. So I haven't taken him there yet. I just haven't felt comfortable. But we did the one in Raleigh, remember? And do you remember when the policeman drove up? Remember the policemen that came to Pet Park? They were wondering why were there a bunch. It was basically a preschool park or a preschool, and there was a little park there. And they're like, what are you doing here? And we decided to just walk over because we didn't want to break the law. So we went over and talked to them. They gave you a little badge. I don't know if you remember that. They gave you, this was about a year ago. And we just wanted to make sure we were safe. So make sure you're extra safe when you have kids there. Okay, this is the big one. Listen to your kids.
Yes, listen.
Okay. Listen, this is a terrible story. We're going to tell you this. So Forrest says, give the poem to a kid. Why does he say that? Because they see things through a different lens. Do you want to tee this up? We were at a Raleigh small treasure hunt. We went out several times to this place. And what happened?
I told her there was a bend in the tree where there was something there, and she didn't listen, and that's where the treasure was. And that where it was, so she didn't listen, so I could have gotten the treasure, and we could have gotten it, but she didn't listen.
And it's actually true. So he said there was a bend in the poem. And he said, there's a bend in a tree. And I'm like, how could it just be a bend in the tree? Let's keep going. It was a bend in the street and a bend in this and that. When the ultimate answer came out, it was the bend in the tree. Somebody had actually figured it out, and it was right there. And he's never let me live it down. So listen to the kid. If you're going to take them out, listen to those kids because they are super, super smart. Yeah. So the last thing is bring the right. This is the last one. This is number 5. Bring the right things.
Like this.
I like that. We brought this today or yesterday. Yesterday when we went boots on the ground. We didn't need it though, did we?
No, but just in case we brought it.
Just in case, and it's small. Did we bring a metal detector?
Yes, we
Yeah,
did. We
just
brought
in
a
case.
Good metal detector.
Good metal detector. It's a nice metal detector. The one time that we went out to Raleigh and we didn't bring the right things, what were we digging with?
Our hands.
Our hands. I think we had a fork that was
Yeah.
in the car. Don't do that. That's not fun. And kids can't like really dig into stuff, even though kids like to get muddy. So bring the right things too. So again, shout out to, we brought this just in case. That's what he said, is just in case.
Just in case.
But bring the right things, the fun things. What else do you have to say? So let's summarize. 1, fun. Make sure to keep it fun for kids. 2, don't be dangerous. 3, bring water and snacks and all that. Up here, buddy. Up here. And then listen to your kids. They can tell you right where the treasure is. And if you don't listen to them, you walk right by it. And then, of course, things like bring all the right equipment. Don't use forks if you don't have to.
We use paddles for ping pong battles.
We don't have to tell that story. Yes, we have used some creative things we found in the car when we got boots on the ground and didn't bring the right things because we were only going out for a minute, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't bring a fork.
Don't bring a fork. Actually bring like a shovel rather than a fork. Okay. Anything else from you, Mr. Man? Okay. Thanks, everybody. We just wanted to check in. So, treasure hunting with kids. These are the things you need to know. You've heard it directly from a child. So, and we will see you again. Hey, probably the last one. Do you remember the one treasure hunt that we went on that Mike's kids were there?
And the Rockies were the sweatshirt one?
The sweatshirt one in Vegas. And it was all the kids were there. Was that more fun to have more kids?
Yes, it was way more fun to have more kids.
Okay, so maybe having more kids. There was a 12, 10, 8, and 6-year-old. They kind of ventured off for a little bit. When the 6-year-old kind of got a little, Eric got a little tired, the 12-year-old was able to say, come on, let's do it. And then the 6 and 8-year-old, they took off. They had some fun. So, yeah, so maybe have more kids around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there you have it. You've heard it from the source. When you want kids, when you bring your kids along, these are the things you need to know. You heard it here first, friends. What do we say now? Okay. Boom.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah. We need to find a little catchphrase or something. Bye, search friends.
Bye.